After the collapse of the British authority in 1775, during the war, it became necessary to form new state governments. By the end of 1777, 10 new states' constitutions had been formed. All state constitutions drafted during the American Revolutionary era were significant because they were the first efforts to establish a government by and of the people. In a sense, this was the beginning of democracy in American soil. Now, back in the summer of 1776, Congress already appointed a committee to devise a framework for a national government. When it was completed, the document was called the Articles of Confederation. But Congress saw this as a weak document. So, ratification started, but it took some time because there was a lot of disagreements. And we know politics, there's always disagreements, right? There's going to be people who are for a certain idea and against it. So, in many ways, Congress also realized that they have other things to worry about, not just building up a government, but also trying to figure out how to overcome, in a way, this whole problem that was going to arise, which was the country, America, was on its way to a deep financial crisis. This then moved the amendment to the Article for Congress to tax. So, what does that mean? They amended the Articles of Confederation so that in the very document, in that legal document, there is that amendment and that would impose tax to the people at the American society. State-to-state negotiation were key topics during the talk of the ratifications and amendments. The American Revolution was a civil war, dividing families and communities. There were about 100,000 loyalists to the colonies, mostly the elites. Most of them did not stay after the war. They went back to Canada, West Indies, and most of them, because they were British, they went back to England. The celebration of Independence Day quickly became the most important public ritual in the United States. And look at this little slide right here. Look at the picture here. This was actually a slide that ultimately began, the creation of the flag. This forced the public to become more engaged into creating its own myth in terms of understanding and owning a national identity. The American Revolution disrupted and transformed traditional class and social relationship. White men gained the vote as property requirements were removed. Northern states began to free slaves, but southern states did not. Although many women had undertaken untraditional roles during the war, they remained largely confined to the domestic sphere of what it is to be done in the household, with no changes to their legal and political status. The revolution is more than about political power. It had catastrophic effects on the Native Americans, regardless of which side they had embraced.